So, before we get to the business end of it all, I'm delighted to introduce somebody else, someone who's known to you all, a self-made entrepreneur, a Michelin-starred chef, no less, as well as a best-selling author. He's also a believer in developing and promoting talent, and he believes that every job is important. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome to the stage Tom Kerridge.
Thank you very much. Evening, everybody.
I bet you thought I was never going to stop.
You all right?
Yes.
Yeah.
First of all...
First, I just got to correct one thing. Sorry.
Go on.
I'm not a Michelin-star chef.
Michelin-star restaurant owner.
No. 2 Michelin-star chefs.
Hey!
Hey!
Yes, congratulations. At a pub as well.
A pub, yeah. The first and the only pub in the world with 2 Michelin stars, I know. It's like, thanks, mate. Thank you.
We'll give you that. Okay, so every job is important.
Oh, unbelievably, every job is important. Like the whole infrastructure, and I think pretty much of everybody, like in this room knows, we're all entrepreneurs. Everybody has their own business. Everybody has an understanding of how it works. Every single role is critical to the success of your business. Yeah. And I think probably actually one of the biggest and earliest things I learned is that you're not good at everything. I think one of the biggest strengths that you understand is trying to find your weaknesses. What are the things that you're not good at? What are the things that you don't excel at? What are the things that, one, you could teach yourself or you could improve on, but actually, can you find somebody else that can do it for you? Like, build that team around you who love doing those jobs that you don't really like doing or you're not very good at. Okay. So everybody has a role.
Got so many questions for you, Tom. Tom. That's John up there.
Yeah.
We've met before.
We have met before.
And I called him John then as well, so it's fine.
Not like in the early years when Anita came to London. Not when she was off the money and the other thing. Like, we didn't meet then. It's funny, it was kind of like the same reason that I moved to London.
Did you? It's all right, isn't it? Yeah. Options. When you say find people who are better at the job, who are skilled, how do you find the people? Like, do you trust, like that is in all business quite difficult, isn't it? How do you ensure that you've got the right team?
So we're very lucky. So the Hand of Flowers, I say lucky, I don't know, it's been a lot of hard work, but the Hand of Flowers, which is the pub that I'm talking about, we've got 6 restaurant businesses anyway. But the Hand of Flowers was the first one, which is almost 20 years old in March. It'll be 20 years old. Thank you, mate. So any hospitality business that runs that long is like, I mean, it's gone through all sorts of things. It's seen so many different, I suppose, financial and critical paths and issues that have happened with all sorts of businesses that it faces and problems. But through that, we've got a core team of people that have been with us for years. Many people, one of the things that we're most proud of, I think, as a company, is the fact that Lloyds, our general manager, she's been with us for nearly 19 years. Katie, our restaurant manager, is 16 years. Gav and Coral, who both worked there, are 14 years. Jamie, like, we probably have about 25 people in the business, if not more, that have done well over a decade with us. So it's not necessarily about finding people. It's about encouraging growth, encouraging people. When you find somebody who cares about your business and is passionate about what they do the same as you, it's allowing them to grow personally, professionally, giving them space, allowing them to make mistakes, and being, I suppose, encouraging in that space that lets them flourish. So I think creating a family environment that then allows other staff, that when they join you, other people that come for job interviews or they come for trials and they come and spend a day there and they see, they have a sense and a vibe and they can instantly feel a DNA and the soul of a business. And that's really, really important because that's what will attract people. I mean, obviously, you put in a job advert, you put hours, you put salary, you put conditions, you put all the... But actually, none of that really matters until... Because if people aren't happy, then they're not going to stay. So you need to help nurture and create that growing environment within a business.
Yeah, build a culture.
Absolutely, and that's so important.
If it's okay with you, I'd like to go back a little bit, because
Sure.
I always think particularly when I meet people like yourself who are successful entrepreneurs, people who have excelled in whatever their field is, and I'm lucky I get to do that quite a lot, where you've come from in order to get to where you're going, right? So, you grew up in Gloucester?
Yeah, I'm from Gloucester originally. Yep.
And single-parent family. Tell us a little bit about your childhood.
Yeah, so single-parent family. My mum and dad split up when I was 11, but my dad wasn't very present in the early years either. So we ended up living in, we moved around from probably 3 or 4 different areas, different estates in Gloucester and different spaces with my mum. And my mum had 2 jobs. She worked for the council and then she had another job in the evening washing up in a pub. There was myself and my brother. There's many of us in this room that will probably remember the age of where it was a latchkey kid. Yeah. So you would have the key to come in and I would go home and I'd cook tea and I would do, I don't know, fish finger sandwiches or Finder's crispy pancakes, the ones with the horse meat in,
I used to wish that my mum would make those. We weren't allowed them.
Yeah, well, I mean, she probably did the right thing, to be honest. Since the scandal, it was probably like, there wasn't beef. Tinned oxtail, things like that. We would do all of those sort of things. So that would be my first kind of connection to cooking. But what I would also do, I think my mum would cook 2 meals a week. And one would be on a Wednesday evening, we'd make a bolognese sauce that we'd have for tea on the Thursday. So that was probably, when I look back at it now, that first instinct of cooking, of making something, leaving the ingredients to rest and become good friends with each other, that then the next day it tasted even better. So that was a process that I've remembered now in terms of cooking and braising, and things take time. But the other one would be on a Sunday so I was a big rugby player, a rugby fan, and every Sunday I play at the club. And then I'd come back from the club that was in the middle of the estate, and my mum would have cooked Sunday lunch. But she would always do extra because she knew I would bring back, because there was, growing up as a single family at his estate in Gloucester actually wasn't that weird. Most people, it was fairly standard and normal. Yeah. So I'd bring back 2 or 3 different kids that would come back from the rugby for a bit of Sunday lunch. Now that Sunday lunch wasn't a full rib of beef. It was, my mum used to do Sainsbury's used to do this sausage meat in a bag that you take out the back. She would roast that. That would be our joint of meat. And you would have this kind of, but all the vegetables would all be the same. So it would all be made with the heart and soul and love. And I just remember that. So those 2 key points of letting food become friends and hospitality, always having an open door. And I think those were the 2 biggest points I remember as growing up that I think has been inherent in the way that I operate a hospitality business.
And you had a brief stint as a child actor, but then you decided to go on.
Well, I did, yeah. It was brief.
What can we Google later?
Well, again, this again Marple, comes down to my mum. I was in Miss Marple, yeah. So it came down. So my best friend on the estate, he wanted to be in a youth theatre. So, but his parents didn't have a car. My mum had this second-hand Mini Metro, so it was over in Cheltenham. So we lived in Gloucester. Does anyone know the difference between Gloucester and Cheltenham? Gloucester's like a night. Is anyone from Cheltenham here? No. Anyone from Gloucester? Yay! So the Gloucester ones are eating everything with a spoon, right? Cheltenham, they have knives and forks. But Cheltenham, so there was this posh theatre, like every youth theatre there, and my mum took my friend over, and because she had the car, I came with him, and we went in there, and I joined the youth theatre, and it was quite good, but it was full of loads of girls from Cheltenham's Ladies College, and which was quite cool because we were 2 kids from a all-boys comprehensive school in the middle of 3 council estates. And it turns out posh girls grotty blokes like that age.
Bit of
yeah. So I was I all of a sudden I liked drama. It was a good space to be. It was quite good fun. But literally
I feel
about
we've lowered the tone of this somewhat, haven't we?
Yeah. This is all about entrepreneurship. but they came. An agent came to see one of these girls in a show. They asked to sign on to her books. Then they saw me, and I said, would I like to be on their books? I was like, yeah, all right. I said yes to everything. So I went, yeah, all right, I'll do that. And then literally 2 weeks after that, I was filming a Christmas special of Miss Marple, which was actually, I played a kid. It was set in a Borstal, so I was a Borstal boy. Then after that, I did 2 different kids' TV shows for ITV, both of which I played a school bully. And then I did something, does everyone remember London's Burning? So I was a part in London's Burning, and genuinely, as the titles go up, that it was Thug 1, Tom Kerridge. So I played like a Borstal boy, a school bully twice, and a thug in London's Burning. I was like, I don't think I'm getting picked for my acting skill here. It might be the fact that I'm just a massive unit and look like a bully. So I decided that it wasn't for me. I also find the world of acting, I love the arts. I'm married to an artist. I love the arts. But that world of pretending to be something else as opposed to being yourself, I find a bit strange. I like being me. So I needed money, and when I was 18, I walked into a kitchen.
Why? What took you into the kitchen?
I needed cash. That was it. Like
no,
I
no
was
passion, no desire.
Yeah, that was it. I was like, well, okay, what am I going to do? Between the ages of 16 and 18, that's when I played these naughty boy parts, and my mum calls it my DOS years. So at 18, I then went, okay, what shall I do? I need some cash. I went into a local hotel to wash up. And I was so lucky that I found this incredible world, this energy, this buzz, this camaraderie, a kitchen full of excitement and like loads of other naughty boys with knives and fire. And it was like, this is amazing. Yeah. Like it was just like, this is, and then, waiting staff and the juxtaposition of everybody that's grafting really hard and then loads of like people coming out and spending their money, having a lovely time in a posh hotel. And then you'd finish work and then you go to the pub and then you like go home and you get up again at like 5:30 because you got to do the breakfast shift. And then like this really exciting, amazing world. I was so lucky as an 18-year-old to go, I've found my home.
Were you lucky because you walked into a nice hotel? Like you'd walked in and you were in the top level,
No, I was lucky because I walked into a space where I loved the energy. And kitchens the world over are the same. Now, it could be amazing street food places in Singapore. It could be the back dining room here at the Grosvenor run by Nigel Bichetti, who's an incredible chef. Or it could be a small little neighborhood restaurant. They have a similar sort of energy. It's an adrenaline-fueled, exciting industry to be in. It's kind of on the edge. You kind of have pressure. You start the day in the morning. You've got to get all your prep work done. You've got lunch and dinner. You have like deadlines to work to. So if you thrive in that kind of industry, on that pressure, it's an amazing space to be in.
And we're all obsessed with cookery programs as a nation. And what we've learnt from watching them is there's no shortcuts.
No.
You have to, as you said at the beginning, you have to be able to do everything in a kitchen, right?
Yeah, but I think that's incredibly relative to every business. I think everybody who succeeds or is successful in any business, and all of you are in here, like having an amazing evening. Some of my finest nights have been in this room. Like we have our hospitality industry awards, very similar to like this, 1,000 people in the room being awarded Katie's, and the Katie Awards is kind of like the industry awards like this, and it's kind of like an Oscar ceremony. It's amazing. It sets people up in your careers and your spaces, and it makes people recognize. And you're recognised by industry. The judges that have judged the people this evening are industry-recognised people that are looking for the same sort of entrepreneurial spirit. And we've had the same. It's the same in just the world of hospitality. But there are no shortcuts to win those awards. You've put the graft in. You understand. You lay foundations. You might be a new, young, upstarted business, or you may be one that's been established over 20 years. But that recognition, it's all about the foundation, understanding building blocks.
We've got to ask about the Hand and Flowers. Incredibly successful. 20 years next year?
Yeah, 20 years
Amazing.
In March it'll be, yeah.
So from being a chef who's doing very well, and you've learnt your trade, you learnt the craft, you have the passion, to then making the decision to set up your own business. What was that? Was that a conversation with your wife? How did that come about?
It is actually all led by my wife, to be honest. So she's an artist and has never really worked for anybody. She's worked as a technician, as a freelance technician for a very prominent British artist called Sir Anthony Caro. But she's always been she's a bronze caster and makes work in marble, which turns out to be two of the most expensive things to make stuff out of. So if you're gonna, if you're gonna do something, you've got to try and earn some money to do. So what we wanted to do, I was looking at taking another job in London, and Beth pointed out to me that if you're going to do 90-hour weeks, you may as well do it for yourself. We may as well do it for ourselves. And the main objective is for me to cook and for Beth to get to a point where she can make uncompromised art. And that was it. Both following our passions. So it wasn't set with an ambition of achieving accolades or winning Katie's or getting a form of recognition through that. It was actually...
But financial stability, in order for her to be able to make uncompromised art, right? There was,
Yeah, I think so. But not to the point of going, you can do whatever, but just to the point where we could just both do what we wanted to do in a nice way without having to ask questions about it. And those are the things that we decided to set up and do, which, I mean, many of you will know, having run your own businesses is a lot harder than you just say, yeah, I'm going to set up a business. It's not that easy. I mean, to be honest, like, I'll apologise to Lloyds Bank now, but we lied to them. So when we first, we told them we were doing, like, we were with Lloyds Bank at the time. We told them we were doing, we borrowed 50 grand because we were doing an extension on the house that we were living in. And I say house, it was a tiny little flat in North London. And then what we did is we used that 50 grand and we bought the tenancy, not even the leasehold. We bought the tenancy of a pub, which meant that you buy the Hand of Flowers tenancy from a big brewery chain, that you just have to buy all the kit that's in it as well. So we took this business on. We lied to the bank. We took their money. We maxed out on credit cards. And then when they found out, this was 20 years ago, so we were quite lucky. We were at a point where a bank manager then came in and saw the business.
Saw the extension.
Yeah. Sadly, didn't see the extension, but saw the business and went with, we can either call the debt in and shut it, or we can either give these guys a year to make it work. And within 10 months, we'd won a Michelin star. We'd done very well. The business was busy.
Yes.
But
within 10 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
Within the first 10 months.
Well, let's deal with the Lloyds Bank situation, then we'll get onto the winning.
Yeah. We have paid it back, by the way. So
all the bosses are in here.
Oh, yeah.
It's all good. And I guess that says something about 20 years ago, how difficult it was to get a business loan, I suppose, if that's what you were.
Yeah, and but listen, I think it still is. I think, it's very hard to try and convince people to invest in business. It's a huge amount of money. There's a lot of, startups are always a risk. But you always have to beg, borrow, steal. You have to, you have to stretch the truth. You have to convince people. You have to shake hands with people. You have to do, and then you continuously have to network. I think the biggest thing that I think everybody in this room will recognize is the point when you're an employee and you earn a particular salary, you know how much money you earn, you know how much money you take back each month, you know how much your rent can be or your mortgage and your life is fairly structured to that amount. The moment that you ditch that and you become a business owner, it suddenly stops. The amount of money that you earn is down to you. Yeah. The amount of, whether you make it a success or not is down to you. And now, if you do make it a success, that's amazing. You build a team around it. But it's also that sense of responsibility that you then suddenly become, you don't really have any time off ever. Even if you're on holiday or even if it's a day when you're not necessarily at work, you're always at work. You never escape that world of being your own boss, which weighs heavy, but it's also the most magical, amazing, and brilliant thing because life is in your hands. It's your destiny.
We're running out of time, Tom, but there's so much I want to ask you. You now do so much. Can you just list off how many businesses you have?
We have 6 restaurants. We have an event business. We have a festival company.
Pub in the Pub.
We have a TV production company, and I write books.
Yes.
And I do. Yeah, I think that's probably about it for now.
Okay, the books, the production company.
Oh yeah, and a consultancy company that works in hospitality as well. Yeah, I forgot that.
And a son.
And a son. Oh yeah, that's the hardest work.
Yeah, well done, you. Well done. So I talked a little bit about drive and energy. How on earth do you manage it all? And where does that drive come from?
Yeah, well, a lot of it comes from, I think, just the fear that the phone is never going to ring, that people aren't going to book a table. I think a lot of it comes from being passionate about what you do. I'm very lucky. Like I say, as an 18-year-old, I love my work. My world is still now, as a 51-year-old, about food. It is, everything is food related, supporting British farmers, supporting British produce, supporting British business, supporting all of those sort of things we've become a part of over the last 20 years, but I've been in the industry for 33, and it's the energy about it. I'm very lucky that you're in rooms with like-minded people that enjoy what they do, and I think that's where it comes from, and caffeine, I think.
Yeah, caffeine.
Yeah.
I mean, and the part, I'm also interested because, my parents set up their business when they were young, and you did it with your wife. And you survived.
We did survive, yeah. I mean, it's quite hard. I've got to be honest. Like the first year, I think she left me 2 or 3 times. I can't remember. But it's kind of like we were living upstairs above the Hand of Flowers in one. Like we lived for a year in one bedroom above the Hand of Flowers. If any of you've been, it's not very big. And upstairs there were 3 rooms, and there was one bedroom that I was in with me and Beth and 3 dogs. Next door was the office, and the one after that was my best mate who was running the bar. So we were in this space. It got to the point. Actually, Beth will tell the story, but. The point where she decided we needed to move out, that was it. We have to buy whatever we can find. It was a tiny little house in Marlow. Was the point that I was so excited about the fish delivery that she was in the shower and I came up and showed her a turbot. Right? And she was like, she's like, that is it. I can't live here anymore. It's 7:30 in the morning. I'm having a shower. Like I've got no clothes on and there's a fish in the shower with me. And I was like, yeah, but look at it. It's amazing. Look at this turbot. It was like that. So that was the point where we had to move out.
Amazing, amazing. We have run out of time. I think I should ask you one more question.
Yeah, you can ask another. Yeah.
I'll end with a really light-hearted question, you know. So should we talk about the budget and small business?
Yeah.
So go on then. I want to know what your reaction is and how you feel as someone who employs, how many staff do you have? 800?
200.
200, okay.
200 staff, and we probably worked out it's probably costs around about 800 quid per member of staff per year more. So from a business perspective, I think all of us in this room have probably found that budget quite challenging. I think it puts we're not looking into next year with huge amount of positivity in terms from a business point of view. But I also come from a background of a single parent family. I also have been chatting to an amazing man this evening, Abdul, who I've been sat next to, who was telling me about the work that he does with refugees and finding them work and jobs. What we have to remember is that for all of us in this room, there are millions of people whose kids don't get free school meals, but they qualify for universal credit. We have an NHS system that's broken. We have a transportation system that's broken. We have an education system that needs structure. So I think it's very difficult from a business perspective. It makes it very, very hard. And it does also mean that added pressure on that business mean that there may be less jobs. However, there's millions of people that are in those jobs that national insurance and minimum wage is very, very important to them. They do need to be able to afford to get the bus. They do need a transportation system that works. And on their days off, they do need to be able to use the NHS. So I think from a business perspective, it's very difficult and very challenging. From a personal perspective, we need a workforce, and we need a workforce to be in a better position. So I think it's a very difficult, I mean, you've got to look at it from both hands.
Yeah.
We are only successful as businesses with the people and the people that surround us that you can employ, and the people that you can give opportunities to, and the people that you can hopefully make their lives better. But at the same point, it does add a massive pressure onto the business.
Thank you for that answer, Tom.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Tom, I have to say it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. Thank you for your time. I must say, having met you a few times, even though you were John last time, you have the ultimate skill that actually makes people successful in business and in life, and that is who you are as a person. You know, people want to do business with you and they want to work for you because you're just a very cool dude.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. I genuinely think that for every successful business, you have to believe in yourself. You have to be yourself, and you just don't try and please everybody.
Yep.
And like I was having a discussion on the table earlier about what is it that makes successful businesses, and it's work hard, be kind. And I think long term, it'll be all right.
Wonderful. Tom Kerridge, everybody.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and good luck to everybody this evening.
Thank you. Oh, absolutely lovely gentlemen. Right, tonight we are here to celebrate the resilience, innovation and creativity of the UK's business community. So now we're going to take a moment to look back at some of the stories making the headlines from the last year.